Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Rick Kennedy. Welcome to the pre-proposal conference for RFP 23-4517. We are pleased to be here today, and if I can get, we always love technology. This is our second RFP pre-proposal conference that we're doing via Zoom. And we're going to try this. We've learned a lot from our last RFP Zoom conference that we will be incorporating going forward. One of which is sometimes our computers lock up with our PowerPoint presentation. And so we are trying to scroll and get it to work. Yeah, there we go, whatever happened. Let's go back. Here we go. My name again is Rick Kennedy, Chief Procurement Officer. With me is Maria Puga. She is our English Learner Program Coordinator. She will also be managing this from the subject matter expert. This will be her contract that she manages going forward. And with her today is Tanya Scurtu, who is the Administrative Assistant in the English Language Learner Program. We'd like today to provide an overview of the program. And with that, hold on just a second. I'm going to ask that Maria provide the overview for us.
Hi everyone, my name is Maria Puga, and I am the English Learner Program Coordinator. We want to thank you all for being here today. We currently have a contract for digital content, and it is used at the local level to help support LEAs as they're having their English learners reach proficiency. The digital adaptive content is meant to be used as an intervention tool to supplement the district's core language instructional education program. So it's one of the tools that is used, and specifically it's digital and adaptive, so it can meet the student at whatever proficiency level they may be. And one of the tools that is being used to help support our English learners statewide. So we're looking for a solution that can help proficiency levels within the WIDA ELD standards from level 1 through proficiency which is a 4.2. And that's working with our pre-K kindergarten all the way through graduation with our 12th grade students. So this is what that RFP will be looking for.
Okay, thank you, Maria. Funding for this program has been appropriated by Senate Bill 1352. There is $2.25 million per year, which has been allocated. And we always remind everybody this is subject to appropriation through the legislative process. So that plan on this for 5 years. However, every year it has to be allocated. And I just want to state that up front. From this moment forward, all communications will come through my office, and please adhere to this. I know we have relationships with folks and we have current contract folks, but please contact me solely with any questions regarding this RFP. Today, we're going to be using the Zoom chat function to ask questions. This is something we learned about with the other RFP we're working on. We will be transcribing this video and posting it. It takes a long time to do that, much longer than we thought. So it might take 2 weeks. I do want to let you all know today we will not be talking about terms and conditions in the appendices A, B, C, and D, excuse me, as we need legal. So send those questions to me, as well as all questions to me via the question form in the RFP, and then we will meet with legal and go from there. I will tell you most of the T's and C's are not changing at all, but we do like your suggestions to look at them to see if we can improve ours. Again, we will then post these questions and answers here in about a week or two. I do want to jump over before we start asking questions. I want to jump over to the current schedule and just to let everybody know. So let me see here. If I can just scroll up, come on, computer. Yeah, why don't you share your screen? Let me stop. Could you share, Maria? My computer is froze up. Could you share the actual RFP? I want to go over the schedule a little bit. We are in a pandemic. And so this is subject to, so once she opens it up, this is subject to the pandemic. So things may change. Therefore, it is incumbent upon you to constantly change or check our website, because, for example, I'm thinking if we scroll down just a skosh, I think we're okay right now for the March 11th deadline. However, subject to our being able to get with legal and to look through the questions, et cetera, the proposal time may move out a little bit. So we will constantly post amendments and date changes, et cetera. But we had a rash of Omicron a couple of weeks ago go through our office, and it pushed things out a week. So this is a very flexible timeline. We do think the contract will still be negotiated upon and agreed upon by July 1. However, I just want to make sure everybody is aware of that. Okay, so go ahead and stop your screen share, and then let's get into some questions and answers. Please, let's start using the chat session for questions. And then at the end, we will allow some folks to vocally ask questions. But the first thing we want to do is go through the chat. So are there any questions so far? Let me check. Okay, the first question is, our program is 5th through 12th grade at this time. Would this suffice to respond to the RFP? The answer is no. We're looking for a K-12 solution. Can you elaborate on pricing requirements? I'm not sure I understand the question. Oh, I think I know. Per license, this is for an infinite number, correct? We are looking to go statewide with this.
So they're going to propose a solution, and then they will give us a cost proposal. I can't go over the 2.25.
Yeah, so the proposal needs to be a solution for a statewide. So it would, in my mind, you're going to say our solution is going to cost XYZ, or right? And it should include professional development, correct? Yes. Did that help? That is correct. No student cost. Total cost. Maria, this is for you. To add to the earlier question, will you clarify if the one program K through 12 must offer on grade level instruction at each of those grades?
So for the K-12, what we're looking for is a solution, and it can include whatever you want to offer, any kind of programs that you have. However, we want it to cover the grade spans K through 12. And it should include it needs to be connected to our ELD standards.
So that would be each of the grades.
Yes, so we would want to have each grade level and proficiency level. How you determine that based on the program or programs that you offer is how you'll describe that within your RFP. So you may have several programs that you include as an overall solution in your RFP. So the question asked in the chat is, there are requirements described in the RFP that lessons be auto-assigned based on student assessment outcomes. Are the assessments in question intended to assess language proficiency or skills or both? It should include everything. And we're looking for language proficiency and then the skills within the 4 domains of the ELD standards. So we will be taking these questions and transcribing them into a document. So please, any questions you have, you may enter into the chat box. We want to make sure to give you enough, that we give enough waiting time.
Go ahead.
So we had 2 questions come in through the RFP question documents. And so I'm going to go ahead and read the question. Tanya, our administrative assistant, will add these to the chat. The first question that was sent was, the RFP says the scoring committee will recommend one product for K-12. Will the committee consider products covering K-8 only? And like we mentioned before, no, we will not. We will only be considering products that cover the K-12 grade span. The next question that was sent in is, given the varying instructional needs of students across grades K-12, is the state interested in reviewing solutions that offer best-in-class specialization in a subset of grade bands? For example, K-12, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 2. When you submit your RFP, you may submit different programs that cover separate grade bands. However, it needs to, the RFP in a whole needs to cover K-12. So for example, if you have a K-2 program, a 3, 5, 6, 8, you would need to make sure that all of those are included in the RFP to cover from K to 12. The third, a question just came up in the chat. We anticipate a K-4 program by the end of 2023. Perhaps we can respond in the next round of RFPs. That would be in 5 years. Correct. We, as long as funding is available and provided through the legislature, we would be doing a process every 5 years. The third question that came in through our questions, our written questions, was, what is the invoicing and payment schedule?
We will post that in the Q&A portion, unless you have it.
currently, can I
Go ahead,
say?
yeah.
So currently we do it is the invoicing is done 3 times per year. And so we divide the 2.25 into 3 separate voices or 3 separate payments. And then, so we do it 3 times a year. But again, that would come in through during the contracting time.
That'll be in the RFP,
That'll be in the RFP, actually.
the amended RFP.
Oh.
Well, questions are coming in. I do want to thank you all. As an educator, it's good to see so many people interested. If anybody has a verbal question, please raise your hand at this point, and we will ask that you unmute. We will take those down. Yeah. I'm not seeing any raised hands. Yeah.
So we're not seeing any raised hands or any additional questions in the chat. We'll stay on for about another few minutes,
Another
just
8
in
minutes
case,
or
yeah.
so.
If any questions come up in the next few minutes. For our current, the question that came up is, what is SDE's current supplemental solution? We're currently contracted with Imagine Learning. we're going to go ahead and stay logged on until 3:30 p.m. So you'll be able to, you can either still continue to put questions in the chat or raise your hand if you'd like to verbally ask a question. But after 3:30, we'll go ahead and stop the chat, stop the webinar if there are no other questions or comments.
Well, folks, we hope you enjoyed our short pre-proposal conference today. Have a fantastic weekend. We look forward to your questions, and we'll go from there. Thank you so much for joining. Talk to you soon.